Practice, sit well, the Peterson step, talking to the stars, and Ask Barb coming up on helpmysquashgame.com. Hi, this is Barb Cooper from helpmysquashgame.com, and the first question I want to ask you is, how are you practicing? Are you practicing hitting the right shot at the right time? Or are you simply winning the games without thinking about what you're doing? The trouble with squash is you can play the wrong shot at the wrong time, but play it too well, and your opponent won't be able to return it, which is great if your opponent's worse than you. But if you practice that over a period of time, you start to do that in games where you should be playing a different shot, which is more strategic for how to play the match. So let me give you an example. You could be hitting length, 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 length against somebody who is not as good as you, and you will eventually win the point because you'll hit such a good length, they won't be able to get the ball back. Now, that's okay, but against somebody who's the same level as you or better, those lengths will be less effective. They'll be able to hit a length off it, and you've got to have practiced cutting the ball off and taking them short when they're behind you. If you don't practice this, you won't look for it in a game, which means you won't be able to keep your own destiny in your own hands and win against people who are of the same level as you or better. The better the player, the more strategic you have to be about when you play your short balls, when you play your long balls, and when you choose to actually try and hit a winner. And I'm trying to get you to practice that when you're playing people who are worse than you. It doesn't mean to say the rally has to stop. You just play the short balls so they can get it. I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But if they get that ball, you will practice being able to hit them to a length again. You've got to feel like you put them on a string and you take them from the back of the court to the front of the court and back to the back of the court again. That's squash. Notice what you're doing when you practice and ask yourself, would that work against somebody who was the same level as me or better? So here's a really useful tool, training tool. It's called a sit well. And it's a pillow. I think it was developed in Germany, but it's great for all sorts of training activities, like using it on a rowing machine. And I'll show you how I would use it to strengthen up my feet and ankles. Stand on it, on one leg, and what you're trying to do is rock, keep your balance. If you feel that you're confident, shut your eyes, and expect to be on here for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then you're going to change legs and do the same thing on the other leg. And expect to do it 3 or 4 times a week. These are postural muscles. They can take a lot of work. And here's how I would use it on a rowing machine. So this unit, you can use it to destabilize any time you're sitting. You could use it on your office chair. That's going to already start to activate your core and make it smarter. But when you start to do it on something like a rower, now you're really going to strengthen up and smarten up your core. And talk about time efficiency. Now you're working twice as hard as you were before. And anybody who's in kayaking or doing any summer sports, this is a fantastic way to do it. Suddenly now everything is going to work for you. Here's a really useful exercise. It's called the Peterson step. You want to start low and slowly build up your step as your strength increases. Let me show you. So this is how you set it up. Take something low, like a telephone directory, not that we ever use these things anymore, and one foot is going on the directory. The foot that's on the floor, make sure that the heel is in front of your foot, and now you're going to raise your left foot's heel up on the ground. Now press in with your big toe. You'll feel the muscles in the inside of your quads start to activate. And what you're going to do is simply step up and take the weight on that leg and then come down again. And step up and come down again. always keeping the foot that's on the floor ahead of the foot that's doing the work. And you expect to do 15 on one leg, 15 on the other leg, 3 times a week. As you get stronger, add more books or take a bigger step in the house. And now a new segment in the show, Talking to the Stars. We get a chance to talk to professional squash players. I had a chance to chat to Adrian Dadziki, one of our up-and-coming stars, ranked 8 in Canada, 5 in Ontario. He's the Ontario closed champion, and he's definitely in the running for the Canadian team in 2015 when we play the Pan Am Games in Toronto.
Great.
So, Adrian, great to have this moment with you. So tell me, what was it about squash that got you into it? What hooked you?
The competition, the sweating it out on the court. When I first started playing the game with my dad, it was a battle. It was really competitive, and we would just fight to the death.
Really? So was your dad a good squash player?
No, we both started at the same day. Both picked up the racket on the same day and hammered it out.
You are kidding me. So tell me, how old were you when you started?
I was 14. I just finished playing hockey, and I was looking for something else. My parents wanted me to keep pursuing athletics, keep pursuing sport for a healthy lifestyle, and from there it just skyrocketed.
Wow,
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You must be thrilled to have found this game because
For sure.
because hockey is a team sport, right? And this is very much down to you.
The channeling of energy can be really individualized. You can really sculpture your own game and sculpture your own lifestyle around the sport. Team sports, there's a lot of different kinds of variables, where in squash you can really control the variables and control your path.
Yeah, I must say, I always used to find it a bit gladiatorial. You know, it was me and whoever.
For sure.
And that's a nice thing about this sport. So you're obviously competitive. You like the competition.
For sure. The competition brings the best out of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the worst too, but the best, it brings the good lifestyle, living a healthy lifestyle and breathing fresh air and getting ready for competition. It's enjoyable.
So would you say when it starts to get really tough, those are the moments that you really enjoy?
For sure. For sure. That's when I get to dig deep and find out who I really am, what I'm made out of.
Very cool. Well, I'm sure that as your career progresses, we're going to see you digging deep from time to time, but it's going to be exciting watching you progress.
Great.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you.
People have asked me whether there's a difference between wrapping the grip for a left-handed person and a right-handed person. And absolutely there is. Each racket that you buy from a store is actually set up for a right-handed player. So when you look at it, what you'll see the grooves of the grip going from high left down to low right. Now, if you're a left-handed player, you actually need to change those grooves and make them go the opposite way. I've just done that roughly, but you can see the way the grooves are traveling now. That will work for a left-handed player. So that when they hold it, their hand is actually working along those grooves, just like a right-handed player would. So lefties, check out your grip. You might find this useful. This is Barb Cooper from helpmysquashgame.com, signing off. See you next show.